You're not here by accident. Something deep inside you guided you to this precise moment. And once you finish absorbing what's shared here, you'll begin to understand why. Perhaps lately you felt overwhelmed, as though your life is filled with uncertainty and challenges that seem to have no purpose. But what if all of this is actually the clearest signal that you're about to step into the most powerful and meaningful chapter of your entire life? What most people never realize is that the universe always whispers before it shouts. It sends signals and subtle cues before a massive shift occurs. The real tragedy is that most people never recognize these signals for what they truly are. They misinterpret them as bad luck and surrender just before their breakthrough arrives. But not you. You're here, and that already means you're paying attention. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 of the most powerful signs that your life is on the verge of a profound transformation. If you resonate with even 3 of them, prepare yourself, because a new reality is already unfolding around you. The first sign: you begin questioning everything you once believed about life. If recently you've caught yourself reflecting on your values, your beliefs, your goals, or your sense of purpose, it's not by chance. It's because something deep within you has already begun to shift. This internal transformation may not yet be visible on the surface, but it is very real. It's as if the old mental frameworks you once relied on are beginning to dissolve. And yes, that process is uncomfortable, but that discomfort is sacred. It means you are waking up to a new version of yourself. The universe is inviting you to re-examine everything you've previously taken for granted. Your relationships, your direction, your very perception of reality. This isn't a crisis. It's an awakening. It's life urging you to dismantle the illusions you've been living beneath, so you can open the door to something far greater than you've previously imagined. This shift in perspective is essential for your evolution. Your mind is now prepared to expand, to embrace new ideas, and to step into a future aligned with your higher self. These questions: who am I really? What do I genuinely want? Am I living in a way that honors my soul's calling? Are not merely philosophical reflections. They are portals, and once you step through them, there is no returning. Suddenly, the world feels unfamiliar. Things that once made perfect sense begin to lose their meaning. Certainties dissolve, and while that may feel like losing your footing, it is actually the moment you begin finding your true path. This disorientation is the universe's method of clearing the way, creating space for the authentic you to emerge, free from the old roles and expectations that no longer fit. It's like a spiritual cleansing, a dissolution of the false self, so the genuine self can finally be born. In its wisdom, the universe begins stripping away the masks, the outdated identities, and what remains is raw, honest, and real. Even though the process feels like chaos, it is actually creation. You are being rebuilt, stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the truth of who you genuinely are. Remember this: questioning is not a detour. It is the beginning of the journey. You are not losing your way. You are finally beginning to see it. And yes, it is frightening when the familiar falls apart. But that falling apart is precisely what creates space for something greater. You are not broken. You are breaking free. It's not only your beliefs being challenged. You may notice that your relationships, your habits, and your daily routines are shifting as well. People who no longer align with your energy begin to fade. Circumstances that once brought comfort may now feel suffocating. That's because you're releasing everything that doesn't resonate with your new frequency. Think of this as an internal cleansing, a filter that allows only what nourishes your soul to remain and releases everything else. And yes, that means letting go of comfort zones, of familiar pain, of the illusion of control. These things may have once felt like core parts of your identity, but they were never truly who you are. They were simply instruments for a different phase of your life. What comes after is where the magic truly lives. On the other side of this upheaval is a new version of you, more resilient, more conscious, and more deeply aligned with your authentic nature. You'll begin to sense it, a subtle yet powerful feeling, a mixture of fear and exhilaration, as if something extraordinary is on the verge of occurring. That feeling is not a coincidence. That is your intuition speaking. It is the signal that your consciousness is expanding and that you are dissolving the limitations you once placed upon yourself. As those internal walls begin to fall, something beautiful starts to grow. New aspirations, new purpose, renewed energy. And here is where the transformation truly deepens. You'll start receiving answers, but not always in the way you expect. They might arrive through unexpected encounters, synchronistic events, or a book that mysteriously finds its way into your hands at exactly the right moment. Even without all the answers, you'll feel it. You're on the right path. Because the very act of questioning is transformation already in motion. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Don't fear the questions. Welcome them. Embrace the uncertainty. Allow yourself to fully feel the discomfort because it means you're growing. Every great transformation begins this way, with confusion, with doubt, with a sense of falling apart. But what you're truly doing is falling into place. And when you finally surrender to this process, you'll start perceiving the signs the universe has been sending you all along. They've always been present, patiently waiting for you to be ready. And now you are. The second sign. You begin to feel a growing disconnection from your past. This is one of the clearest indicators that you're on the verge of entering a new chapter in your life. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual, subtle shift that begins deep within you, often so quietly that you don't even notice it at first. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the things that once excited you, that motivated you, that filled you with genuine energy and purpose, begin losing their hold over you. What once felt like the center of your world starts feeling strangely distant. Maybe you've recognized that the hobbies, conversations, or routines that once brought you authentic joy now feel hollow. It's as if you're observing the same world through entirely different eyes. Eyes that no longer light up at the same sights, ears that no longer respond to the same sounds. The people you once felt deeply bonded to, the places that once felt like home, now seem unfamiliar. The emotions once tied to those experiences have quietly faded, and in their place settles a gentle but unmistakable sense of detachment. Not coldness, simply a quiet recognition that something within you has moved on. This shift is not random. It is not a fleeting mood that will dissolve with time. It is something far deeper and more significant. It is your soul gently but firmly nudging you forward. It's telling you that you've outgrown certain moments, certain relationships, and certain versions of yourself. Your perception of life is evolving. And as that perception transforms, so too do your aspirations, desires, values, and the connections that feel meaningful to you. Suddenly, the things that once formed the foundation of your identity no longer feel like they belong to you. They feel like echoes of a life you once lived, shadows of a self you no longer are. It's a disorienting experience. You don't always know where you're headed or what you're meant to become, but you know with absolute certainty that you cannot go back. You cannot keep pretending that the old life fits the new version of you that is quietly emerging. It simply doesn't. And somewhere deep inside, you already know it. Your previous routines, the role that once defined your worth, the social circles you once felt at home in, even the thoughts that structured your daily existence. These all begin to unravel at their edges. And yes, this unraveling can be deeply unsettling. It can feel like loss. It can feel like grief. But simultaneously, it is one of the most unmistakable signs of genuine personal transformation. It is your inner being making space. It is you shedding your old skin so that something far more aligned with your true essence can finally emerge. Releasing the familiar is never simple. There's a quiet mourning that accompanies letting go of parts of your identity that once felt permanent. But this disconnection you're experiencing is not meant to punish you. It is meant to prepare you. It is clearing the ground for what arrives next. Think of it as an opening in a dense forest, freshly created by time and change, now ready to receive entirely new life. What's approaching may not yet be visible, but it is developing silently, just beneath the surface of everything you can currently see. The loss of connection with your past is a sacred message from the universe, one that tells you, even if you don't yet fully understand it, that something new and more aligned is on its way. This isn't about abandoning everything you've known. It's about releasing yourself from things that have already fulfilled their purpose. It's about loosening your grip on attachments that no longer support your growth. You're entering a period where you're being called to let go with grace, to release the roles you've performed, the patterns you've repeated, and the masks you've worn for far too long. You're being invited to step into a life that reflects who you are becoming, not who you once were. This transformation doesn't always follow a logical sequence. It may feel uncertain. It may feel as though the ground is shifting beneath every step. But within that uncertainty lies the genuine promise of something beautiful: expansion, rebirth, and the opportunity to rediscover yourself in ways you never previously imagined. As this sense of disconnection deepens, your beliefs begin evolving as well, especially the limiting ones you never thought to challenge before. That older version of yourself, the one who accepted certain truths without question, who followed external expectations, who moved with the crowd even when something inside quietly disagreed, starts to recede. You begin examining things you once took entirely for granted. You start asking questions you previously never permitted yourself to ask. Perhaps you find yourself turning inward more frequently, discovering that the external world no longer holds all the answers you need. Perhaps your old structures are dissolving, not in a way that destroys you, but in a way that quietly sets you free. You might struggle temporarily to define who you are in this new space. But despite that uncertainty, one truth remains crystal clear. You are not the same person you once were. You are evolving. You are expanding. And that old version of yourself no longer fits the life you're being called toward. There is a deep desire rising within you to be reborn, to step into a version of yourself that is bolder, freer, and more authentic than anything you've previously allowed. You may not yet know exactly what that version looks like, but you can feel it calling to you from just beyond the horizon of your current awareness. As this disconnection deepens, fear may naturally surface. Fear of releasing the familiar. Fear of losing what once felt safe. Fear of stepping into the unknown without a clear map. But hand in hand with that fear comes something equally powerful: liberation. There is genuine freedom in no longer needing to be who you used to be. There is real strength in releasing what no longer supports your highest path. That empty space you feel when the old falls away is not emptiness at all. It is potential in its purest form. It is the fertile ground of entirely new beginnings. It is the signal that something far more aligned with your soul is quietly preparing to emerge. You stop clinging to the past. You stop trying to breathe life back into what has already run its course. Instead, you open yourself to possibility. You allow yourself to grow into someone entirely new. Every day brings you closer to a more honest version of who you genuinely are. Not the version shaped by fear or obligation, but the version that has always been waiting patiently for you just beneath the surface. So if you find yourself drifting away from who you once were, if your old life no longer fits, if the people, habits, and dreams that once felt essential now feel distant, know this with complete certainty: your soul is guiding you. It is leading you with great care toward a new beginning. This disconnection is not the end. It is the quiet, sacred beginning of the transformation you were always meant to experience. The third sign: you find yourself questioning what you once believed was truly important. Have you ever noticed that what used to feel absolutely essential no longer carries the same weight? It's as if you're suddenly perceiving life from a completely different vantage point. Things that once consumed your worry seem to lose their grip. Material ambitions, other people's opinions, social expectations, they all begin fading in the presence of something far more meaningful and real. You start questioning what genuinely matters to you at the deepest level. Career achievements, financial accumulation, public recognition, they all seem like small fragments of a much larger picture you simply couldn't see before. You begin recognizing that the true meaning of life isn't found in satisfying society's standards. It's found in living in authentic alignment with what genuinely resonates within the core of who you are. It's as though a veil has been lifted, allowing you to see past the surface of things and into the essence of what truly gives your life meaning. This inner questioning isn't always comfortable. It can stir up significant uncertainty and make you feel adrift amid conflicting ideas. But that very space of not knowing is fertile ground for genuine growth. That is precisely where new answers begin to surface, answers that emerge from within rather than from outside voices or inherited expectations. Life starts revealing to you that fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating possessions. It comes from experiences that enrich your soul and connections that nourish your spirit in ways nothing external ever could. This questioning can spark a complete re-evaluation of your purpose. Why are you here? What do you truly want to experience? What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? The answers don't always arrive instantly, but what is certain is that you're opening yourself to new possibilities that previously felt out of reach. What once felt indispensable is gradually releasing its power, making space for new passions and a deeper longing to connect with what truly matters at the soul level. This is a clear signal that you're preparing for a radical transformation. The universe is directing you toward what genuinely fulfills you, toward your most authentic path. And although it may feel disorienting at first, this is actually the doorway into a more conscious and intentional existence, one fully aligned with your purest essence. This shift in perspective usually unfolds gradually, but once it begins, you realize it can no longer be ignored. You start noticing that things which once gave you security now feel hollow. You no longer feel compelled to follow what society defines as success. A new energy is taking hold, drawing you toward a more authentic life, one far less shaped by external demands. This process isn't simply about rejecting the old. It's about creating genuine space to allow the new to enter. The passions and interests you may have set aside are suddenly reclaiming your attention. Perhaps you're rediscovering pursuits you once abandoned or exploring entirely new territories you never previously considered. You no longer feel the need to fit into a predetermined system or walk a well-worn path that was never truly yours. Instead, you're seeking a direction that genuinely reflects your deepest values and your real purpose, the one only you can define and only you can walk. This period of questioning may also bring a temporary sense of solitude. You might feel increasingly distant from familiar friendships or your usual social circle. It's a natural part of separating yourself from external expectations in order to uncover your inner truth. But don't be afraid. This solitude is only temporary, and rather than something to avoid, it becomes the very environment where genuine self-awareness blossoms. Over time, you'll naturally begin drawing toward you people who share your evolving vision, individuals who resonate authentically with your expanding worldview. The fourth sign: you feel more deeply connected to your intuition than ever before. This is a remarkable phenomenon that emerges when you're standing on the edge of making a leap in your life. It's as if a new kind of inner clarity suddenly activates within you, one that cuts through the noise of everyday life with surprising precision. Suddenly, existence begins carrying deeper meaning. Every choice feels more instinctive, more natural, more aligned with something real. What once felt uncertain now becomes obvious. You're no longer lost in the relentless noise of your own thoughts. Something within begins guiding you steadily, showing you which direction to move, even without complete logical explanation. Intuition is that inner voice, that quiet gut sensation that tells you what to do, even without all the answers. It's the knowing that something aligns with your true self, even when you can't fully articulate why. The key lies entirely in learning to trust that inner wisdom, rather than constantly second-guessing it. As you begin doing so, you'll notice that making decisions becomes progressively easier because you're acting from a deeper and more authentic place, one more closely connected to who you genuinely are. This awakening of intuition doesn't happen all at once. It often begins with small, subtle signals, a quiet hunch that leads you to choose a different direction, or an unexpected wave of calm that settles over you during moments of uncertainty. At first, it might be difficult to recognize, especially since the persistent noise of everyday life tends to drown out that quiet inner voice. But as you begin giving it space and listening more attentively, you'll witness how it grows stronger and clearer with each passing day. Intuition can manifest in many different forms, sometimes as a distinct physical sensation in the body, other times as a thought that arises unexpectedly from nowhere, or as an inexplicable certainty about a person or situation. As you grow increasingly attuned to these signals, you'll begin recognizing that your choices are no longer purely rational. They emerge from a deeper knowing, one more in harmony with your truest essence. It won't matter if you can't fully explain why something draws you in or gently pushes you away. That feeling of inner certainty is the beginning of a powerful transformation already actively unfolding within you. As you continue nurturing this bond with your intuition, you'll start observing that events which once seemed chaotic or random now reveal a pattern, as if the scattered pieces of a puzzle are finally falling into alignment. Your life begins flowing more naturally and gracefully because you sense in a way that defies easy explanation that you're in exactly the right place at the right moment, doing precisely what you're meant to be doing. You no longer feel the constant compulsion to overanalyze every decision because you've developed a fundamental trust that your intuition is steadily leading you where you most need to be. This awakening also opens your perception to things that once went entirely unnoticed. You'll find yourself reading between the lines of situations and conversations with new ease. You'll sense the underlying energy of people and circumstances before it becomes fully apparent. Sometimes it's not about what's being spoken aloud. It's about what's being felt in the spaces between words. And now you are far more receptive to those subtle but significant vibrations than you have ever previously been. The most extraordinary aspect of this sign is that the more consistently you trust your intuition, the more you begin experiencing a deep and lasting sense of peace and inner security you never previously knew was available. Even without all the answers, even when the future remains a beautiful mystery, that powerful feeling of being genuinely aligned with your purpose becomes so unwavering that very little can redirect you from your path. Fear and doubt begin loosening their long-held grip because your decisions no longer emerge from anxiety. They emerge from a profound and growing understanding of yourself and the universe surrounding you. This marks the beginning of a genuine phase of self-discovery and empowerment. As you continue learning to listen to your intuition, the choices you make bring you progressively closer to your authentic essence. Life begins flowing with a grace you never previously imagined, simply because you are now aligned with the natural rhythm of your own being. The fifth sign, you feel a powerful draw toward personal growth. As this new chapter begins unfolding, you notice your mind opening wider than it ever has before. You're no longer satisfied with what you once knew, nor with the version of yourself you previously accepted without question. It's as though a profound desire for expansion is rising from somewhere deep within, a hunger that simply refuses to be ignored any longer. You no longer want to merely exist. You want to evolve, to develop, to push beyond the limitations you once accepted as fixed and permanent. This inner drive for growth begins shaping your thoughts and guiding your daily actions in ways both large and small. You find yourself reaching for new understanding through books that once would never have caught your attention, through experiences that challenge your previous assumptions, through conversations with people who genuinely expand the way you think. Knowledge, new skills, and transformative encounters draw you in with an intensity you've never previously felt. It's as if you're genuinely hungry to learn more, to grow more, to become a more authentic and fully realized version of yourself. This hunger for self-discovery leads you to explore dimensions of yourself you never previously thought to examine, from your deepest buried passions to the limiting beliefs that have quietly held you back for years. You sense with growing clarity that now is the moment to embrace every available opportunity to genuinely reinvent yourself from the inside out. And this drive isn't solely about intellectual curiosity. It runs far deeper. It's about a profound longing to feel truly whole, to align more completely and honestly with your deepest values and your most authentic purpose. This desire for growth also connects you to a transformative energy that begins permeating every area of your life, a feeling that nothing is truly impossible if you are genuinely willing to evolve and do the necessary inner work. You find yourself increasingly open to releasing old limiting beliefs that once felt like unquestionable facts. You welcome fresh perspectives that carry you forward rather than keeping you anchored in place. Personal development is no longer merely a desire. It has become an inner necessity, one that will reflect itself across every dimension of your existence. You begin asking deeper questions. Who am I genuinely beneath all the roles I've accumulated? What is my true purpose? What do I most want to experience and contribute with the life I've been given? This period of questioning is no accident. It's a clear indication that your mind and soul are both ready to expand, to break free from the comfort zone you once believed was sufficient. At the same time, you sense a powerful pull toward genuine healing. You begin confronting old wounds, outdated beliefs, and entrenched mental patterns that have quietly limited you for far longer than you may realize. You're finally prepared to release them, understanding that only by letting go of what the past placed inside you can you make authentic room for what the future is trying to bring. The sixth sign. You feel an intense desire to distance yourself from toxic relationships and situations that no longer resonate with who you're becoming. At this stage of your journey, you're beginning to recognize with unmistakable clarity how certain people and circumstances that once felt like home now seem completely out of place. The behaviors you once excused without question, the environments you once accepted as normal, they now feel heavy, draining, and disconnected from the person you are genuinely evolving into. You're not simply outgrowing these dynamics. You're moving beyond them entirely. What once felt familiar and comforting no longer aligns with your deepening values, your expanding sense of purpose, or the inner peace you are finally beginning to claim. You're undergoing a profound transformation, and that process is making it impossible to continue ignoring the weight of what has been holding you back from the life you were always meant to live. It's like waking from a long sleep and realizing with startling clarity that some of the people and patterns you kept closest were never truly helping you flourish. They were simply keeping you in a place you had already outgrown. A new clarity is emerging, a powerful awareness that you no longer wish to remain anchored in connections that steadily deplete your energy or maintain you in a persistent state of emotional turbulence. It doesn't matter how long you've known someone, how much time you've invested, or how familiar a situation has become. If it doesn't actively support your growth and nourish your soul, it's time to release it with love and without guilt. You no longer fear the uncertainty that accompanies meaningful change, because the discomfort of remaining somewhere that no longer feels right has become far greater than the fear of stepping into the unknown. This urge to move away from draining energy isn't about rejecting others with bitterness. It is about honoring yourself with genuine love and deep respect. It is not selfish to choose your peace. It is not selfish to protect your energy. It is self-respect in its most courageous and authentic form. As you release what no longer serves your highest path, something genuinely beautiful begins to emerge. You start attracting people and experiences that are in true alignment with your soul. New connections begin blossoming, ones that feel expansive, inspiring, and authentically real. You find yourself in the company of those who truly understand you, who actively support the path you're walking, and who encourage your deepest aspirations rather than diminishing them. Slowly and steadily, you begin to rebuild. A new chapter opens, filled with genuine bonds that organically replace the superficial ones. You stop settling for half-hearted relationships and begin welcoming love, whether in friendship, family, or romance, that truly sees you, hears you, and honors you completely. The seventh and final sign. You begin experiencing a profound sense of release from everything that no longer serves your highest path. As you step into this new phase, you notice that what once felt essential or irreplaceable now carries far less weight. Your perspective is shifting at a fundamental level. Your energy is transforming, and what once appeared to define your entire world begins to recede naturally into the background. Relationships that once felt vital may now feel strained. Activities that once filled you with enthusiasm might now feel hollow. Even familiar places that once brought comfort may feel unexpectedly distant. And none of this means your past was a mistake. It simply means you're evolving. You're releasing layers of an identity that no longer fits the person you are genuinely becoming. And in doing so, certain elements of your previous life naturally fall away, not as losses, but as completions. Old fears begin loosening their grip. Persistent worries seem less urgent and less consuming. And while this transition can carry quiet nostalgia, it simultaneously brings a profound inner calm, a sacred stillness that follows the courageous act of genuine letting go. You're not merely releasing the old, you're consciously creating space for what is genuinely new, genuinely aligned, and genuinely yours. Remember always, the universe has a deeply intentional way of guiding each of us, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always with purpose. If these words are reaching you right now, if they resonate even slightly, trust completely that it is not by accident. You were meant to receive this message at this precise moment. Something within you is awakening. A deeper wisdom is rising steadily to the surface. And if you follow it, if you genuinely trust this growing inner knowing, you are about to enter a chapter of your life where everything begins to make sense in ways it never previously has. What shifts when you stop clinging to what was and start genuinely welcoming what is meant to be? A powerful awakening awaits, one with the genuine capacity to reshape everything you thought you understood about yourself and your place in the world. You're not simply changing your external circumstances. You're expanding your consciousness to encompass an entirely new and more authentic vision of what your life can be. You're aligning with a version of reality where peace, clarity, and authenticity become your new and unshakable foundation. This is the beginning of something truly extraordinary. Stay curious, stay open, stay committed to your own becoming. The path ahead is not merely about incremental growth. It's about profound and lasting transformation at every level of your being. You are not alone on this journey. Keep walking with us at Carl Jung Philosophy. There is so much more to uncover and discover together. We'll meet again very soon, and together we'll keep growing, expanding, and stepping ever more fully into the truth of who we truly are and who we were always meant to become.